special review of RoboCop OCP products. So this is a RoboCop with his little chair that he gets charged up in and monitored or whatever they do to him in his little chair. Yeah, OCP Crime Prevention Unit 001, Detroit Police Department, Michigan. Wow, that's some dynamic pose right there. See him looking all moody in his chair because he's all bashed up with his head hanging out and his helmet's fallen off, mate. Yeah, all bashed up by Clarence Boddicker. So he's a bit of a tattered version. It's not all pristine out of his wrapping, is he? He's had a bit of a bashing from the old Ed 209 missiles right there. There he is in his chair. If you haven't worked it out, I'm a massive RoboCop fan. It's probably one of my favourite films ever. Obviously, it's a quality film. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing with your life, man? So, don't get me wrong, some of them are absolute terrible, like RoboCop 3, pretty shit, to be fair. Like, come on, man, that's just rubbish. They tried to, like, make it all kiddie friendly or something. I don't know what they did with RoboCop 3, but it's come out absolute steaming pile of horse-shit, to be honest. But 1 and 2 are awesome films. Then after that, there was like a TV series or something which was shite, and what was it, a few more bilge horrible, terrible movies. But anyway, I digress. I digest, because the first 2 was proper quality. Anyway, let's get the old precision incision ninja blade out. Wasn't even in the proper frame then. Dope. Right, let's get RoboCop out. See what he's saying. Get your RoboCop out, mate. Right, here we go. Ooh. Oh, he's coming out. Oh, the little pieces. Right, don't want to drop this on the floor just yet because it's got some nice Detroit City skyline back in there with all the old rubbish on the floor. That looks well 3D, doesn't it? Looks like it's actually there. Cool. Yeah, so the box is alright, not too bad. Ah, what a shame, dropped it. Right, you get everything stuck in this big piece of plastic. So I don't think I'm going to mess around. I'm just going to take it all out and then get back in a second. I'll be back. Right, so he's come out of hiding, out of his little packaging, and he had a little, you know, like plastic tie little belt round his waist. I couldn't see it. I'm trying to pull him out thinking, hang on a minute, this is like really stuck in here, what's going on? And he had his little seatbelt on, but hey ho. So, right, first let's look at the chair. I've got this little monitor there monitoring him, as they do when he's having his little nightmares in his chair about Clarence shooting him in the head. But yeah, the thing is with this, yeah, I thought about it already. If you have this head on, right, and he's sitting in his chair with that head, like that looks weird, it's a floating RoboCop head. Anyway, he's sitting there in his chair like that, yeah, and then on his monitor, he's got his helmet on, right, and he's in a different pose and everything. So, my solution to this problem is, this is on video playback, obviously, you know what I mean? Let's just say that, because otherwise it'd just be stupid, wouldn't it? Do you know what I mean? Right, what are these? Little speakers to his little robo-techno music. I don't know. Anyway, it's his little chair. Looks very uncomfortable, but I suppose if you're a robot, you wouldn't mind that much. Oh no. Oh no, that's shonk, isn't it? Look. Damage, man. Damage. Oh, well, I'm sorry, yeah, but that knocks marks off of this whole thing, doesn't it? Basically, I mean, would you want to say that it's a bit scuffed off of there as well? Would you say, oh, it's a used thing? You wouldn't, would you? Bit of scuff in there. I mean, did they do that on purpose? Did they? I'm thinking they didn't. I'm thinking it's just shoddy. But we'll have a little look around the rest of it and see. That's where his little feet go. So the chair moves round left and right. Oot, oot. got these little wires hanging out, which are pretty cool. Little oscilloscopes showing the same thing. Why you'd do that on two different oscilloscopes showing the same thing, I have no idea. Maybe they're not very good engineers. It all moves around quite nicely. That's cool. Anyway, something I've noticed, look at the paint on this. Right, that's that bit of glue rubbish on there, but look, maybe if I turn the light off it might be better for us. Look here, yeah, all the paint looks like it's all round. Look at that. That's shonky painting, isn't it? Come on, I mean, you got to do better than that, really. It's not painted on the sides, it's all kind of like frosted looking. Ooh. Difficult to zoom in and get it to focus, isn't it? Yeah, look at that. It's totally like outside of the lines of where it should be. That's just shonky, to be fair, you know. Marks down for that. I can't remember how much I paid for this. It weren't cheap. It's probably like 60 quid off Amazon or something like that. That's pretty cool. It's got little wheels on the bottom that actually spin round. What's that little bit? Don't worry about that. Yeah. I don't know what that is there. Big chunky bit. All these wires. Maybe I could separate them out a little bit and reroute them to make them look a bit more interesting. You know what I mean? Anyway, do that later on. Little head bit. Oh, the head bit goes up and down. Monitor moves round. So anyway, probably sick of this chair by now. So you get Auto 9 pistol accessory, which is cool. Got the, it did have till I dropped it. Got the spiked data reader thing that he puts in the computer, or Clarence Bodica's neck. Probably just ruined it if you haven't seen the film, but never mind. If you haven't seen it, you deserve to have it spoilt, to be honest with you. Right. Gun blast that looks like some sort of mad chewed up bubblegum thing. With like, come on man, that doesn't really look like a gun blast, does it? So I'll have to do some airbrushing and jiggery pokery on that to make it look cool, because it looks pretty terrible. So that goes on the end of his Auto 9, like this kind of thing. It goes in there. Do that later on maybe. Right, main event, RoboCop. So yeah, that was kind of like where the cane like lasered plasma cutted his face, I guess. And it's got like the old purpley sheen on it, blue purple two-tone paint, which is what I'm going to do on 3D print model I'm doing of RoboCop. So I'll review all my 3D stuff on the other channel that I paint and print. Bullet holes all over him. I mean, it's like some sort of inconsistency with the mould there. Like mould lines and things, and I don't know, just bad plastic. This thing's not wonderful, but it's not bad. Looks like he's chewing too many cotton balls. Looks a bit more like the Godfather there than he does in the film. So, the light better when I do this? Let's see. Does that look better? Maybe. So yeah, I mean, it's quite a groovy colour shift paint job. And it's reasonably well made, you'd say. So, I suppose I kind of like it. I'm just really annoyed still with like the scrape on there, to be honest with you. I mean, that's just inexcusable and annoying. And when you get RoboCop models, you also see like big gaps between his legs, like where they move and stuff, which is pretty bad, but I guess that's how they make them, to articulate. So his arms go in and out, forward and backwards. He's got joints on his elbows. God, really stiff. Why won't he move his joints on his elbows, man? Surely he's got to move them. Wow, I'm not kidding you when I say this is the stiffest model I've ever tried to move different positions. His elbows were incredibly tight, his torso was all shifted round that way, and I had to literally grip it with a tissue because, you know, the oil on my hands wouldn't even let me turn it, sort of thing. I had to get a bit more grip and turn that round as if it was glued or stuck, and that went all straight instead of to the side. And then this whole top torso, which sort of bends left and right, that was incredibly tight as well. Right, as I said, I put the old gun blast on there. Doesn't look too bad, but doesn't look the best, does it? I mean, who shoots out candy floss out of their gun? A bit ridiculous. But yeah, so his head moves all sorts of ways, up, down, left, right. This top part moves up, down, left, right. So he has got quite a lot of movement. And his little feeties, when you move them, the pistons go up and down. So let's see if I can show you. Right, move his little feeties. Right, and the pistons go up and down. God, what a terrible angle. Focus, focus. There you go, his little pistons go in and out of that foot. That's pretty cool. Yeah. What do you guys think? Is it a little bit on the shonk side then for NECA, or what? Or do you having it like don't mind it sort of thing? Right, well, there's his spike can go on there. There's his other head. The paint on that's pretty terrible, really. Look, it's all one colour of skin, basically. They've put a little bit of. Have they even put blush on his cheeks? I don't know. It looks. Oh, I just feel it's lacking, do you know what I mean, a little bit. I'm going to have to do something with this myself. It's just a little bit lacking. But anyway, let's swap his head out, although I do like that head quite a lot, so maybe I'll swap his head out later. Let's put him in the chair. So there he is sat in his chair. Thought I'd take the gun off because he's probably not going to be sitting in his chair shooting anyone. So if that's on your shelf, what would you think? I mean, you can't make him sit naturally on the chair because of his soppy little leg joints, which look like they're all popping out there, really, when you try and put him on the chair. I mean, maybe if there was some sort of different joint, I don't know. It looks like he's had a bit of a dirty protest or an accident. Actually, in his torso. I mean, why is that brown? Shite brown, right? I don't really know. Suppose it might supposed to be mud out of that pit or whatever he's in, but come on, man. Yeah, so he kind of looks like a pregnant gorilla sitting in a chair trying to give birth, you know what I mean? Some sort of mad birthing chair or something, and his legs are all in some weird angle. There's not much you can do about it. His knees are on little ratchet joints, but they're definitely strong. But yeah, I mean, you can't make him sit naturally no matter what you do. You know what I mean? He's sort of sat awkwardly on his chair, so I don't know about that really. Not much you can do to make him sit naturally. Let's have another look. Alright, so after much fiddling around with it, I mean, that looks better, doesn't it, I suppose? Sort of looks like he's sitting on there a little bit more naturally. But that arm doesn't rotate left clockwise and anti-clockwise. That one does, but I was trying to do that for a long time, and where's the joint here? There, that little bit's where it turns there. This one doesn't have one. It's all like a... Why am I wrong about that as well? Right, I'll be back. Okay, so my fault, I was wrong about that. But it was literally glued solid, man. I literally had to get a bit of tissue for a bit of purchase because my hands, grease on my fingers, whatever, was not allowing me to turn it. That's how tight it was. That joint there finally freed up so I could put his hands a bit more relaxed on there. So yeah, it does move. So this head bit comes up and down on the back, and you can put the little spot knobby jobby in the back of his head like that if you put him right. Position him right in there. These little army bits go back and forward, actually slide forward and backwards on this little rail here. so that's kind of a nice touch. So yeah, I mean, if you have that there on your shelf, it looks a little bit more natural sitting there now. Doesn't look like he's giving birth at least, so that's a bonus. So yeah, I mean, if you have that on your shelf, probably going to be quite happy with it, aren't you? Like overall from a distance, you know what I mean? So if you had a little RoboCop diorama or something like that, yeah, so with its faults, I'd say sort of 8.5 out of 10, 8 out of 10. I mean, some things are unforgivable, like the paint on those buttons, and there's like sort of bad casting of it with little plastic bits hanging off, and you know, I know it's mass produced and all that, but there could be like dark bits in here, like wash inside of there, as I said before. So yeah, once I paint it up myself, I do like the sort of colour shift paint though. I mean, that's probably quite hard to get good. It's a little bit too pinky, maybe should be a bit more blue floppy on it, colour flop. But yeah, I mean, also looks like there's a little scuff on his head that shouldn't be there. Well, that looks like an unintentional one. And the mark on the handrest and things, I don't think they were supposed to be there. Let's say 8.5 out of 10. From a distance, it might even be a 9 out of 10, you know what I mean? If you're a fan of the series and the films, sorry, the films, forget the series, get it, I suppose. You know, it's a little bit lacking here and there, but overall from a distance it's pretty cool. Maybe I'm being harsh, but you know, I've had quite a few NECA things and I seem to think they're a little bit better than this usually, but oh well. I mean, let me know what you guys think in the comments, as you do, and see you next time round. Bye.